As the movie starts, we see two siblings, Becky and Cal. They were driving to San Diego. Becky is 6 months pregnant. Becky's becomes upset on the way, so they have to stay at a place. There was a large field of tall grass along with the road. They hear a voice of a young boy, Tobin, from that tall grass. They also hear a voice of someone else. That kid's mother was forbidding him for asking help. Becky and Cal were taking it so weird. Now they both move into that tall grass, parking their car in front of a church there, so that they may help that kid. Cal moves far in the grass. Becky is left behind while calling the police for help. After a few moments, they both realize that they are lost in the grass. In the grass, some supernatural incidents begin to occur with them. They don't find each other. They were calling each other loudly. When they feel the voices coming from near, they had a great distance from each other. When they are calling each other from a great distance, they are at a little distance. They both, being panicked, try to find the road but fail. Now Becky gives an idea to Cal, speaking loudly. She suggests that we both jump at the same time. Due to this, we will be able to see each other. Now they both do the same and they have a glimpse of each other. When they again jump, they don't each other. It makes them scared. Now the night had fallen while searching for each other. Now Becky meets a man in this tall grass. He was the father of that kid Tobin, who was calling for help at the beginning of the movie. Becky tells that man about herself, why she was here and how the kid asked for help from them. She tells him how they both entered the field of grass. Now the night had fallen and they both got lost. Now that whose name is Ross says to Becky, we should stay together. We should search for Cal while staying together. On the other side, Tobin meets Becky's brother. Tobin says to Cal that it is easy to catch the dead things in the field of grass. Grass isn't interested in the dead things. But Cal was not quite interested in his story. He asks, ignoring his story, how did you come here? Now Tobin reveals to him that our family was here at the church. Then we heard a voice of a man from the field of grass who was calling for help. He tells, when they stepped into the grass, we did not get that man and we all three got separated. After this, Tobin says that I know that your sister Becky will be died. Hearing it, Cal felt strange because Tobin had not met Becky yet. He didn't tell him about his sister. He asks Tobin, how do you know this? Then Tobin responds to him that I have been told all this by a rock. This grass had told it to the rock and this knows everything. Whole story of Tobin was appearing nonsense to Cal. Now Tobin leads Cal to that rock. Before this, Cal could touch that rock. He hears the voice of Becky. He begins to search for her again. Meanwhile, one more man is shown going inside the grass. He is the spouse of Becky and his name is Travis. He has come here searching for Cal and Becky. First of all, he encounters Tobin here. Tobin says to him, I know you are here in search of Becky. He also tells him that Becky is no more. Then he leads him to the dead body of Becky. Travis is completely shattered, seeing her dead. He mourns there almost all the night, holding her necklace. Now it is morning and Travis finds it very hard to come out of this tall grass. He fails to find a way out. Now Travis hears a sound of a kid beyond that tall grass and he calls the kid for help. This kid was Tobin. Now Tobin's whole family has stepped into the grass to save Travis. But they don't find Travis here and they all are now separated from each other. Many days have passed and we see the very first scene of the movie. Becky and Cal have stopped their car. Tobin is calling them for help whereas Tobin's mother is forbidding Tobin to call someone. Now it has become complicated. Actually, this movie has been made on the time cycle of repetition. All the characters of this movie are entrapped in this time loop. This time cycle is running as Tobin comes into the grass on the call of Travis. Cal and Becky enter the field of grass on the call of Tobin. After Travis comes here while searching Becky and Cal. It means that it is an enigmatic time cycle and it continues for a long time. Let's resume the movie from the very beginning. Cal and Becky have stepped into this field of tall grass. When they were calling each other, their voices are now heard by Travis. He says to them to speak loudly so that 3 of them can meet. Now 3 of them meet each other. Becky and Cal ask Travis that why was he here. Then Travis reveals to both of them, you have been missing for the last 2 months. I have come here searching both of you. This is something they feel really weird and confusing. For them it's only their second day in this grass. Because it was their second time cycle which is continuing in this movie. But this time cycle is riddle for everyone yet. Even though the shown characters of this movie are also unaware. Now they all three were trying to quit this place. At the same time, they also listened the voice of someone at their nearest place. He was Tobin. Travis makes him sit on his shoulder here, so he may guide them, watching the area out of the field of the tall grass. Tobin tells them about a building. They start walking towards that building. At the same time, Becky receives a voice message in her cell phone. Someone was speaking in the message, "Don't let Cal to harm Travis. Don't let them commit the same mistake again and again." This message seemed to three of them very mysterious, but they begin to move ahead, ignoring this message. Tall grass had started to engulf Becky in itself when they were near to come out of it. Consequently, Becky loses her consciousness there. Cal and Travis come to Becky immediately. In the meantime, Tobin's father also approaches here, who tells Becky, restoring her consciousness, "I know the exit of this place." At the same time, Tobin also tells his father that they have seen a building outside. They are moving to that building. After some time, he loses the sight of that building. Seeing it, they all had agreed to go out along with Ross. Ross leads them to a rock instead of taking them outside. He begins to tell everyone the advantages of touching this rock. As Cal was nearly to touch that rock, then Tobin's mother comes here. She warns them to touch that rock. She tells that Ross has hurt her. She has also seen Becky dead here. They don't agree with this lady because they were thinking that she has become mentally upset because of being staying here for a long time. Meanwhile, when Ross starts to force them to touch that rock, they also detect something wrong. They begin to hit that man. Ross overcomes on Travis during their fight. Travis still does not lose his courage and he asks others to escape. All leaves from there as being agreed with Travis. Then Ross crushes the head of Tobin's mother. Seeing it, they all are panicked and run away together. But they all couldn't find any exit. Then they see a dog. They reach a desolate store, coming on its way. It means that they had eventually come out of the field of tall grass. When Travis and Cal were fighting on an issue with each other in the store, they listened the voice of Ross outside. Now they quickly moved to the rooftop of the store. Now they were searching a way to come out of this tall grass. They observe here that the exit is possible only walking through the field of tall grass. And they also observe a dog, who had led them to this store. Now this dog had reached across the grass, passing through an underground hole. Observing it, Travis is slipped from there. Cal saves him once. Then he leaves his hand again deliberately. As a result, Travis is fallen down. Tobin sees Cal doing this. The voice of Ross is again heard by them and Cal goes downstairs. Now Tobin had again stepped into that tall grass after going downstairs. Now Cal and Becky had also moved to the field of the tall grass. It is being observed here that all these actions are being taken because of that unknown message, which had been received by Becky. Cal had bruised Travis according to this message, and Tobin had again stepped into the field of grass while committing the same mistake. Cal and Becky had also come into the field of tall grass. Now Ross catches Cal in the field of the grass. As Cal moves to the opposite side after being released himself from Ross, Ross had also come there to catch him there, and he was saying to Cal here, "No matter in which direction of this grass field you move, I will surely catch you." After this, he strangles him to death. Now it is seen that there are many dead bodies of Cal in the field of that tall grass. It means that Ross had killed him for many times in the shown time loop of movie. Becky sees the grass men when she was running as being afraid from there. Their bodies were covered with the grass. And those grass men carried Becky to the same rock, lifting her. The rock where Ross had led them. Now Becky was going to deliver her baby near this rock. There is a hole. It is also seen that Becky had delivered her baby for many times. Now Becky calls on her number from her cell phone, so that Becky may not come here again in the next time cycle. It means that it had been called by Becky herself, which she retrieved from unknown person. Becky had lost her consciousness after calling it. She finds her brother Cal near her as she restores her senses. He was holding the baby of Becky. She had lost her senses again, seeing it. She notices after restoring her senses as Cal is making her eat something. Cal tells Becky he is making her eat the grass. Actually, he was making her eat her own baby. At the same time, that boy Cal is altered into Ross. In fact, he was Ross. Later, Tobin and Travis are seen. Tobin was telling Travis, "My father will kill them again and again." Tobin and Travis were at the beginning of the time loop, where Tobin was telling him the things according to the time cycle. Now Tobin and Travis come to that rock. where Ross begins to hit Travis violently. He was also making his son to touch the rock while forcing him. But Becky kills Ross, coming from backside. Travis touches that rock here unwillingly. He had begun to feel so strange after touching the rock. Ross was died here and Travis had known all the secret ways of the grass after touching the rock. But a curse had fallen on him as he cannot go out of this grass. So he hands present Becky's necklace over to Tobin, taking it off. He tells him the direction of grass field to go outside. He says to him to wait for Cal and Becky out of the field of the tall grass field. Reveal this whole story to Becky, giving her this necklace. Don't let her come in the field. In the last scene of the movie, it is seen that time loop was again going to start. It means Cal and Becky were near to come into the field of grass. Then Tobin glimpses them from the church. He reveals the whole truth to them. Now they both don't step into the field of the tall grass as being convinced by Tobin. And Travis had met his end in the field of grass. This movie ends here, showing this scene.